I am in Japan, or at least I was a few months ago, and I filmed loads of stuff while I was out there. I went to Tokyo, I went to Kyoto, I went to Nara, and I went to Osaka. So the first thing I did basically as soon as I stepped foot off the plane was go to the Pokemon Center in Shibuya, Tokyo. And as you can tell, there are a lot of Pokemon plushies. A lot of which were for the lesser spoken about Pokemon, which I thought was pretty cool. Like, who is this? I've definitely seen him before, but I just have no idea what his name is.
What a guy. What a guy.
Right outside of the Pokemon Center was this really nice roof garden type place, and it had a lovely view. Apologies for the poor camera work. I had not slept in a day. This is some footage of a road in Shibuya, and I know it's like the meme of thing in Japan, but it was so cool being here. I've always wanted to visit Japan, not because I'm like a weeb or anything. Only anime I've ever seen is Death Note and like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! It just seemed like a well-sick place, and it is. Also, I was so baffled that they had a body shop here. Like, that just seems like such a British shop. It'd be like seeing a Londis in Madagascar. I stumbled upon this place that sold these gacha pods, which are like these toy dispenser things you find in shopping centers sometimes, but this was like a whole store dedicated to them, and it was huge. And full of weird shit like this. I'm filming vertically for some reason. I'm honestly not sure why. I think there might be something wrong with me.
What the fuck? What is that? Why can you just buy pictures of like people and like figures of people just like sitting down?
But this is like an actual thing people spend their money on in Japan, I think. Unless everyone in here was a paid actor looking to mug off the G-Dog. I bought a load of these, like a good few quid's worth, and I opened them for a video that will be up on the channel very soon, so subscribe for that. But it wasn't long before I began to feel right at home.
Oh yes, get me in there.
Oh, but maybe my favourite thing about Shibuya, here's the crossing, by the way. Busiest crossing in the world, pretty cool. Is this restaurant called Uobei, U-O-B-E-I, which was like a conveyor belt sushi place, and when I say it slaps, I bleeding mean it. Each plate of this pristine sushi was like a quid, and my whole meal in the end came to 950 yen, which is like a fiver. The next day it was absolutely pissing it down, the likes of which I'd never seen before, so I visited a few animal cafes. Here's me with a ferret looking up and sniffing the camera. I think that's a ferret, at least, I'm not too sure. Got a hedgehog here, and here's me chilling with a corgi. Love it. The next day was pretty lush, so I went to some park, and look at the size of that archway. I remember seeing it and being like, blimey, that's huge. Something I love about Tokyo is there's so many places like this within the city that are just like these huge sprawling parks with temples and streams and fields, and it proper refreshes you. You don't even feel like you're in the most populated city on earth. You feel like you're in like the countryside or something, and then you just look up and then there's a skyscraper peering over the trees. Also, there are so many cat cafes, which are God's greatest gift to the world, and I thought I'd just play a little bit of footage here without my annoying southern voice over it. That evening I went to a fine dining place to have a taster menu, and bleeding heck, it was yummy. Just listen to that sizzle. Another thing I love about Tokyo, and actually Japan in general, is there's so many shrines just dotted around in places you might not expect. I found this one just on a road while I was waiting for an Uber. But after that, it was time for me to leave Tokyo and go to Kyoto via the bullet train. Now, my video doesn't pick it up that well, but instead of basically wrestling to get onto the train like you do a lot of the time in the UK, you line up. And it's the same for their metro systems. It's so polite. I love it. Here's some footage from the train, and yeah, it's pretty fast. For some reason, I recorded like 2 minutes of footage. I don't know why. I don't know what I thought I was going to use it for. But by the time I got to Kyoto, it was late. One of the only places near me that was open was this little place that served this. It was almost like an omelette-y thing, but with noodles and a load of spring onion on top. It's called okoni. Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher this. Okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki. I think that's how you say it. And it was genuinely so good. I wasn't expected to enjoy it as much as I did. The next day, I spent my time well. Oh yes, I did. I trekked up this mountain to a monkey park. There were lots of cool signs on my way up the mountain, like this one, which informed me what expressions the monkeys pull cool when they are angry and scary. Very helpful. I will bear this in mind, I thought, as I strode up the mountain. Now, this place isn't like a zoo or anything. The monkeys are wild. They're not confined. They just come to this hut because they know people will feed them. Look, here's me giving them some pineapple. Yum, 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 I bet they're going. It was really cool to see monkeys in the wild just doing their thing and interacting with each other. And there were loads of baby monkeys as well. Ah, look at that. So cute. After I paid the monkeys a visit, I had a walk around this area of Kyoto because there was a lot to see. A lot of natural beauty as well as man-made things like cool buildings and frog thing that I gave a coin. Kyoto is definitely one of the most beautiful parts of the world I have ever been to. It's just something about the way the green mountains are constantly there in the background of everything. The famous bamboo forest was also in this area, which was cool. I've never seen this much bamboo in one place, and I'm unlikely to see more anywhere else. I then ended up getting a bit lost. Like, I ended up in this park and there was literally not another soul in here. Like, the entire park, I walked around the entire park, there was no one else there. And considering this was maybe like a 10 or 15 minute walk from the bamboo forest and it was so busy there, I was surprised this place was so empty because it was quite cool. I then came across this area, which seems to be a place people in the local area went, as I was seemingly the only tourist here and it was right in the middle of a suburb. It's so cool. Imagine having a place like this grand, basically just for the people in your area. I think it was, at least. Like, there was no one else here except for me and a couple of locals. Anyway, here's some cool footage that I got that wouldn't benefit in any way from me talking over.
Right, so they've got more of these things in Kyoto, like they're called like gachas, like the ball, you dispense the ball and it gives you like a round thing. It's got like a gaming chair one. I just found these and I'm really curious. I think I'm gonna have to buy one. What does Glenn's penis equipment mean? What could that possibly include? Right, so I got it. I'll open it when I'm when I'm inside because I'm not opening this outside.
Right, I forgot to record, but it was a cock ring, all right? It was a cock ring. And I'm not going to show it on camera for obvious reasons. But you will never guess where I went to next. Oh, yes, another cat cafe. And this one was even better than the last one because they let you feed the cat. And when you had their food, they all walked over to you and climbed on you. It was unreal. That's everything. All gone. All gone. No more. Look at that. Look at that. Right after that, I went to Osaka and straight to the beautiful, historic site of Universal Studios Mario World. Yes! To get to the section of the park, you've got to go through this green tunnel. And when you start to see Mario Land on the other end of it, I don't know if my horrible camera work picks it up well enough, but it feels special.
That toe is either a very small person or a child.
First thing I did was go on the Mario Kart ride, and the theming in the queue line was incredible. Probably one of the best queue lines I've been in. There were some boring bits. Like, there was one bit I didn't film because it was so boring. It was like just like, you know, a winding queue. It was just one of those, and I was in there for about half an hour. It was quite boring, but the rest of it, very entertaining, I must say. The ride itself was like It was alright. I waited probably about an hour and 15 minutes for it. I probably wouldn't do that again. If you're there, it's worth going on though. It's like an AR ride, so you got this headset on. I didn't film it for obvious reasons because you could only see it through like your own eyes. But it was like this weird AR headset and it had like a really narrow field of view. And it took about half the ride for me to figure out like what was actually going on. But it was a decent ride. In what I can only describe as a moment of madness afterwards, I, for some reason, decided to get in the 75-minute long line for Yoshi's Adventure, which is this, like, it's basically the Chessington monorail, but you're inside Yoshi. I was in that line for about 2 minutes before I came to my senses and promptly left.
That could have been me if I didn't bottle it.
Now, as a whole, Mario World was fun. It was decent. It was just too busy, in my opinion. I think they opened up like a year or two ago. So I'm guessing they're just getting that first massive influx of people coming in. In a couple years, it'll probably die down and it'll be all right. But it was basically shoulder to shoulder. And look at this line for a cafe. This was the line for a cafe. It was nice. I could appreciate it. It was really cool, some of the stuff they were doing there, like with the animatronics and stuff. But for me, it was just way too busy to enjoy. I then went to Osaka Castle, which was cool. Look at me up there. I'm at the top of the castle, king of the castle. But not as cool as Mario Castle at Universal Studios. Here's me shooting stuff with a cork gun, and I won some pretzel stick things. That was a highlight of my life. It was then time to go back to Tokyo for a couple of days before leaving to see some more important historical sites. Tokyo, Disneyland, and Disney Sea, let's go! I don't know why, but for some reason, I was thrown off when all the rides were in Japanese. I know I'm in Japan, right? But still, my puny English brain could not comprehend it.
It's in Japanese. I don't know what they're saying.
But yeah, that was my trip to Japan. I've got a couple more videos going up. One where I opened a load of gachas and one where I met deer in Nara. So subscribe for those.